Did you know that there were about 7 million children diagnosed with ADHD in 2022 alone? It's one of the most common neurodevelopmental conditions in the world. But while
How
public
come I feel like 7 million's a little low?
awareness of ADHD has increased, many misconceptions and lesser known facts still persist and affect the understanding, diagnosis, and management of the condition. So
Yep.
let's take a deeper look into ADHD and shed some light on the often overlooked aspects of it.
All right, so chat, what we're gonna do? Also, bit of a game. If this does apply to you, and a tally mark. If you get 5 for playing bingo, that's exactly what we're doing. Let's play bingo real quick with it.
Number 1. ADHD is not just a childhood disorder. Many people think that ADHD only shows up during early childhood, ages 3 to 7, and that they outgrow it as they age. However, research
What?
says ADHD often continues into adulthood, with
Who says that? Who has? I've never met anyone who said that. But I mean, fair enough. I guess. I guess it's for everyone. I feel like that's for like the older generation because the older generation thinks that ADHD just isn't like sitting and focusing enough, which is kind of the problem. But hey, whatever.
approximately 60% of children diagnosed with ADHD experiencing symptoms into their adult years.
Oh
And it
God.
might not look like what you are accustomed to identifying as ADHD. For example,
Go on.
instead of issues with hyperactivity or impulsivity, they may struggle with time management and organization as
Yeah, this is pretty much this right here is essentially everyone. It's me. That's definitely how it works for me. Most of the shit that I have, and like it seems like a mess, but there's a method to my madness, and I know where everything is. Everything's in a place. It just doesn't look nice. And the time management thing is god awful. I really need to figure out how to. Hopefully they go over how to like kind of fix this. But man, oh man, has this shit been a detriment?
ADHD affects people's perception of time. For
Mm-hmm.
example, they may over or underestimate how long a task will take them to complete, which can greatly impact their day-to-day life.
Yep.
Number 2. High energy is not a sign of ADHD. Have you ever heard someone say something along the lines of, "That kid cannot settle down"? They probably have ADHD. The reason
Yeah.
ADHD is a common diagnosis in children is because their excitability, where they might be constantly running around,
Sanic.
jumping, or fidgeting, gets misinterpreted for hyperactivity or inattention, common symptoms of ADHD. Additionally,
True.
boys have a higher chance of being diagnosed with
See, I was about to say, I'm glad you mentioned that because I was about to say, usually it gets like that was me to a T, but it's usually mentioned mostly in boys. So it's just because we're rambunctious.
ADHD because they often exhibit hyperactive symptoms that are commonly associated with ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
There is
Mm-hmm.
concern of misdiagnosis or a biased diagnosis as ADHD has no pathogenic markers. Sex, cultural norms, and even length of assessment can all be factors that affect the diagnosis. Because of this, doctors recommend waiting until they reach developmental maturity, around the age of 7, before doing an assessment. Number 3. Gender
I wonder what the assessment is supposed to be because I never had an assessment. The lady was just like, "Yeah, he has ADHD. Here you go. Here's meds." And like, I don't know if you've seen the meds, but like the meds are awful. And then again, for everyone, it's different. I can tell you how it worked for me. So, as one person, I'm very hyperactive and I like to talk. Yap, 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 all that good shit, right? But then when I take the medication, it essentially the medication just takes a part of my brain, like the creative and like the more outgoing version of my brain or part of my brain, and just gets rid of it. And I just feel like a zombie. And I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate that medicine with a burning passion. The Ritalin, garbage. Also, apparently, Ritalin got like taken off the shelves because it was giving boys gynecomastia. So there's Ritalin. There is Adderall, like the king of the king, the creme de la creme that everyone knows about, and then Vyvanse. And then Vyvanse got taken off from what I've heard because the one of the side effects was like an appetite suppressant, and the appetite suppressant was so fucking effective, kids just wouldn't eat like at all, and they'd get then. You'd take one of these a day, so you'd go like a week and some change without eating, and then not feel bad because it's just that good at doing it. And then not too long ago, I actually saw a commercial for Vyvanse, and it was are marketed as a dietary supplement because again, it works so well at curbing your appetite.
differences in ADHD. Did you know that girls are usually underdiagnosed?
Mm-hmm.
Society has almost conditioned us to associate ADHD with hyperactivity and impulsivity, which is why boys are more likely diagnosed. But
Yep.
ADHD often presents differently in males and females. In
Just like
contrast, girls
autism.
exhibit symptoms associated with inattentiveness, which is less disruptive and therefore less likely to be identified as ADHD. As a result, many girls and women with ADHD remain undiagnosed or misdiagnosed, leading to
Damn.
a lack of appropriate support and treatment.
Nah, what a shame.
Number 4. ADHD affects more than just attention. While the term attention deficit might imply that the main issue is sustaining attention, ADHD actually encompasses a broader spectrum of symptoms. These
Spectrum.
include impulsivity, hyperactivity, emotional dysregulation, and executive function deficits. It's why those with ADHD often struggle with some areas of daily functioning that usually involve high order processes. In childhood, it may look like inattention, constant fidgeting, as if driven by a motor, and impulsive behavior, which can get in the way of their learning. In adulthood, it may involve difficulty focusing, inability to prioritize, always running late, among others.
Yeah.
Number 5.
It's like your boy is quite constantly late all the goddamn time, and I fucking hate it. And it's just because of misjudged time. Like, it feels like from where I'm at now and when I go into work, right? It's like a 45-minute drive, but I always leave like 30 minutes for me to drive there, and I'm always late because of it. It's kind of annoying.
Role of genetics and neurobiology. We don't know what causes ADHD, but doctors have acknowledged the role of genetics as a factor. ADHD is heritable, with genetics playing an important
Really?
role in its development. In a recent analysis of twins, researchers found that ADHD has a heritability of 78 to 88%. It is associated with
Jesus.
differences in brain structure and function, especially in areas like the prefrontal cortex, which is associated with executive function, attention, and impulse control. In fact, neuroimaging studies have shown differences between an ADHD neurodivergent brain and a non-neurodivergent brain in the size and activity of certain brain regions that are crucial for self-regulation and decision-making. Number 6. Relationship with
So
other disorders.
what I'm hearing is I have been constructed in an unorthodox fashion. I was put together without the preset parameters in mind. I see I'm built stupid. I get it. I get it.
Why is it so hard to figure out if someone has ADHD? Well, ADHD often coexists with other psychiatric and developmental disorders such as anxiety disorders, depression, learning disabilities, and conduct disorder. This comorbidity complicates diagnosis and treatment, since symptoms of ADHD can overlap or mask those of other conditions. If you
Damn.
have concerns, reach out to your licensed medical therapist for a comprehensive evaluation to address
All right, who the hell has money for a therapist? Let's be real here.
the full spectrum of your challenges. Number 7. The controversy around medication.
This brother's spitting because this is terrible. The medicine, I said it earlier. Medicine's terrible.
A common treatment is medication,
Gross.
particularly stimulants like methylphenidate, Ritalin,
Nope.
and amphetamines, Adderall. However, there's ongoing debate about the long-term effects of these medications, potential for abuse, and the notion of overdiagnosis and overprescription. But medication can be part of the solution. When medication is combined with behavioral therapy, lifestyle changes, and support, treatment and management for ADHD can be more successful. Number 8.
I mean,
The
all right.
potential for positive traits. We often look at ADHD through the lens of its challenges, but it's important to look at the positive qualities as well. Many individuals with ADHD are highly creative, energetic, and resilient. They
Yep,
might
that's how it is.
thrive in dynamic environments that require quick thinking and adaptability. Recognizing and nurturing these strengths is just as important as addressing the difficulties associated with ADHD. Number 9.
Okay, fair
Ongoing
enough.
research and advocacy. ADHD research is continually evolving. There are ongoing studies exploring its causes, treatment, and long-term outcomes. Also, advocacy efforts aim to increase awareness, reduce stigma, and promote policies that support individuals.
Is there really like a stigma? I mean, I'm trying. Is actually maybe you know? Do you have ADHD? Do you know anyone that has ADHD? Because it's weird. Because when I hear people say reduce the stigma for ADHD, is that like a thing? Are people actually like hating on people with ADHD? Because I don't know. Maybe it's me. As someone who's been to 48 states, Canada, and Mexico, I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk badly about having ADHD. Chances are they know someone that has it. I feel like maybe that this isn't necessarily a thing for like our generation and the generation under us, but like the older people, You know, when they didn't take care of their mental health at all, they just kind of like died at 40. That was just kind of like their thing. Huh. Stigma. All right, whatever.
individuals with ADHD across their lifespan. Continued education and advocacy is essential for understanding and supporting those with ADHD. It's crucial to challenge misconceptions and foster a more nuanced understanding of ADHD. In this way, we can better support those with ADHD in achieving their full potential. Did you learn something new about ADHD? Are there other aspects you'd like us to go over? Feel free.
I'm gonna have to write in a comment when I come back to this later that I need to understand the whole ADHD and sex thing, because apparently one has an effect on the other. So I got to figure that out. It'll be so much easier and nicer to explain if I can understand what's going on and why what's going on is going on without having to take medicine for it. I'm not a fan of medicine, or at least the Adderall or the Ritalin, which apparently is still being prescribed. I had no idea. I don't know anyone who takes Ritalin. Everyone who did take Ritalin switched to Adderall. And then I ended up switching to Vyvanse, but Vyvanse isn't a thing anymore.